What's going on, guys? Welcome into what I am assuming and pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure this is episode 54, and I'm also probably 84.2% sure that we're live on across all the channels. There's a lot of moving parts going on. Got the production team working around the clock behind the scenes. They actually suck. It's actually me. Don't even kid. What's going on, guys? There's three of us, so you're lucky.
Yes.
We got Buff, and then joined by very special guest, Abel Green. What's up, man?
Hello, guys. Hello. Good evening, men and ladies. What's up, guys?
Yeah. Buff, how are you doing, man?
Good. Got the highlight of the Monday here, so ready for another long week after this. But
yeah, no kidding.
Good way to wind down here.
How are the mentals with the contest prep going? How's that hanging in there?
It hasn't picked up. I'm gonna hit like full gear here probably later this week. So check in with me on Monday. So if I'm pretty grumpy and shitty next week, then then more than usual, then you'll know.
it's from the lack of carbs.
Yeah.
How have you been, Abel? How was your weekend, man?
Oh, it was eventful. Was just happy to be back streaming. I had to handle some personal things, but Sunday I just coming back to the community, having a good time on Caliber. It was really cool, and I get happy every time. I legit. I don't stream during the week, so like by the time I hold back and I'm ready to release on the weekend, I'm just like all the energy, good vibes, and is all there, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, good time streaming this weekend.
Hold back and release. Is that code?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Gotta keep it clean. YouTube's gonna demonetize us so fast.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
please.
we need to talk about Caliber. So anyway, I guess let's talk about Abel first. Let's introduce this man on the screen. If you guys are joining us on whatever platform, if it has a description, the links to all Abel's stuff is in there, his Twitter and his YouTube, namely, wherever this is being broadcast. The podcast audio version, again, our single podcast listener is like downloading the episode like 40 times a week over and over. So we appreciate you buffing those numbers up a little bit. The podcast listener, you rock. The link should be in those show notes, wherever that is. And for those of you joining us live, Abel is a content creator. I've watched his stuff for a few years now. I was introduced to his channel back in the glory days of Deadside when it was coming out. Did an incredible job covering Insurgency Sandstorm. I know there's a lot of fans of that game. Buff and I are fans of that game, and I know a lot of folks in chat are. And if you are joining us from Team Green, if you're coming over to check us out from Abel's community, how stuff works over here. We're just a weekly live talk show. We talk about FPS games. It's an audio only version if you're into that on all the podcast platforms. And we do things a little different around here. We want you guys to be part of the show. So that's why chat is on the screen. So when people go back and watch the VOD over on the Scope channel, you guys are like a co-host. You can see what is going on in the chat. I always love reading the chat, and that's why it's on the screen so people can go back and listen to you and see what you're saying when they watch it back. And then also, since we are broadcast to more channels than the Super Bowl, you guys can see what people are saying. We got mixed chat on the screen so you guys can see what people are saying on the other channels. So keep an eye on that, chime in, and also keep it clean. Be nice to each other, all right?
Yeah.
You can make fun of me though, that's okay. So I'll show you guys just really quick Abel's channel over on YouTube. Definitely follow him. Getting away from the new stuff and doing more thought-provoking stuff. His last few videos, a lot of editing has gone into it, a lot of storytelling with FPS. Right up our alley.
Yes.
So
my channel looks sexy. Wow.
Yeah, look at that. Who put that together?
Wow. Okay.
Who did that? So yeah.
I'm ready to go bodybuilding there. All right.
Let's do it, man. Meet you in the gym. Let's go.
All right.
We need a gym episode. That'd be wild.
Oh, bro, no. To be honest with you guys, like you guys lifting and things and buff with the competitions, like that's really actually inspiring because I really do want to get my 50 Cent on in some type of way in the future. So, very inspired by what you guys do for real. Because I'll be very honest with you, I've never been I know I'm a strong dude, but I've never been a lifter or anything like that. But I love MMA. I love bodybuilding type thing. And bro, just to hear that, it's like God put me here. It's like, yo, Abel, you're around some people that are into. So yeah, I think that's really cool. Really cool.
I don't know how Buff is with it, but with me, it's like I started lifting because it just made me feel better at first, but I hated getting to the gym. And then I got over the hump to where it's like, now I'm grumpy if I don't go. Like, it's just part of my day. It's part of what makes me feel good. And like, it's just in my routine. I feel like if you can get over that hump and you kind of get addicted to it. And for me, I have to focus on how I feel afterwards. Cause I do it, man. Like we're the pandemic hit and I started working from home a lot more. And lately I've been going to the gym over my lunch break. And like 10 o'clock, that starts to creep around. It's like, well, I could just stay home. I got to drive like 5 miles into town to go to the gym. So it's like, oh, I could just stay home and make some food and maybe watch some YouTube and sleep on the couch. I start to try to talk myself out of it, but I have to focus on how I feel afterwards and chase that. Then I go, I lift, and I feel good. Like the rest of the day, I feel way better. I don't know how it is with Buff, like how he got into it, but he's muted,
baby.
He's still muted.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Wow. No, I was gonna say, yeah, you always feel better after you go. It's like, I don't want to go. Maybe I don't need to go today, and then you go, and you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, man. I try to talk myself out of it. Like, oh, I should probably get a jump start on those taxes. Like, I need to do like just the most random stuff. Like, I try to talk myself out of going, but you got to do it.
Some yard work.
Right.
So I'll start with Abel. What have you been playing, man? Like lately, the FPS is in a weird state, and we're going to talk about it. But where are you at right now? What are you playing?
Sure. My corner right now has been Rainbow Six, Caliber, Ready or Not, Insurgency. That's been the rotation as of late. I played a little of Stalkcraft. Hopefully I'm saying it right. Blue, don't hate me. That's the rotation as at the current moment. It's weird because I know us as men, like our gaming communities, people say we don't have a lot of choices, but we do. It's weird. We have a lot of choices, but we don't. It's like I guess a lot of the titles that we indulge in have been around for quite some time. So I think we all take into consideration that fatigue of like the titles we've been playing for years, and we just consider those like old. So like currently, like, are there new shooters out? Yes and no, but I don't know. I look at Road to Vostok and different things like that. Certain things that are on my radar. Transients with my boy Fry. There's certain titles that I'm just really like, whoa, like I got to keep an eye on that. Rackay City, Crime Boss. That's different. Me personally, I'm more into like, I'm not milsim by no means. I'm not a milsim guy, but I do like arcadey and I do like tactical. I do like that. So that's my pocket of gaming, and that's been the rotation as of late.
Yeah, there's a weird thing. There's like a pocket for me, and I think our gaming takes are really similar, and I wouldn't be surprised if Buff was kind of in the same boat too. It's like I really like tactical. I like where you have to think about and like use positioning stuff and like where you're at, but at the same time, like full on milsim like Arma is like. It's a little too much where it kind of starts to take the fun out of it. Like there's a balance between like arcade, realism, tactical fun.
Oh yeah.
That's what you're like definitely. Always looking for. All right, where are you at on that, Buff? Are you full? You're not full like milsim, are you?
No, I you guys hit it on the nail on the head there. I definitely am more of a tactical like shooter, like ground branch and all that stuff, Ready or Not. Those aren't really milsim. I'd say those are tacticals. But when you get into like Arma 3 and Squad, man, me trying to figure out Arma and everything was pretty
so you would have put a ground branch in that area? Because
not really.
Ground branch, like they have like quarter turns and shit. Like when you start doing quarter turns and I'm like, okay, we're going a little but don't get it twisted. I think ground branch is exquisite. Like it's just not it's not my go-to run to game, but I get why people like mess with it. I totally get that.
Especially like the mods. I really like. I mean, that's one of the things I loved about Sandstorm on PC is like all the modding, and then you get to, ISMC, and then Ready or Not, Ground Branch, all that stuff. the mods that are present there. But I really think I would classify those as tactical shooters, or I don't think if there's a between milsim and tactical, they'd be in there maybe. But milsim, I mean, like squad is just like you're waiting for orders. There's a hierarchy of command. We're digging ditches and stuff, and then we're driving into combat once in a while. So there's a like definitely a huge separation in my mind from legit military simulation, and then there's the tactical shooters. I think they're very separate.
I totally agree with you. Like when I come into gaming, like I punch out of work, I don't want to punch back into work. You understand? Like I like that. I like to keep a smile on my face and keep things going. I don't want to
play Tarkov.
yo, you guys play Tarkov?
Yeah, I played today actually.
Like
it played me. It played me today.
Right. No, but God bless you guys, because honestly, the premise of it, I love it. I think the gameplay loop, sick. I think that's amazing. Yeah, but like for me myself personally, I suck at it. Like I two tapped, I'm going like
everybody does.
It gets.
No one's good at Tarkov. Everyone's.
There's like 4 or 5 of them, like Landmark and Rengar and like all that.
That's just how it is. You always like die. It's just a matter of like you get some good raids once in a while, and the gameplay loop there like keeps you hooked really, really well. Which is fun. But then you get two tapped, and you're like, shit, I need to take a break for a bit.
I think I found the key for me to enjoy Tarkov this wipe. There's a lot of Tarkov fatigue going around from what I understand on Twitter. Now that's Twitter that puts random shit in front of you that makes you mad. That tries to. Nothing on the internet can really make me mad. But I don't argue on the internet, man. I'd rather go talk to that brick wall. It's the same thing and it's real life. But like with Tarkov, I'm playing it like I'm doing just a few raids a week, and it's like kind of fun. Like I'm not stressing out over getting a task done. I'm not like trying to pound my head against the wall trying to get this stuff done. I'm just hopping in for a raid, kind of enjoying the experience. If I die, it's whatever. I'll start it off with a scav raid. So if I do like one scav raid and then a PMC or two, I make enough money from that scav raid to cover whatever stuff I lose. And I'm just kind of dabbling in it. Last wipe, I played it. I got the flea market. I got max traders. I got like up to close to level 40 something the last wipe. And this time, like me with Quest, man, I'm like, I can't do it, dude. Like, I can't do it again. I don't want to go get the pocket watch again. I don't want to go kill 5 scavs while wearing blueberry outfit. Like, I've done that stuff already. And that's kind of happening with Tarkov. And they got a lot of problems going on. The audio is so bad this wipe, such a downgrade. They had to back off of Steam audio, go back to the old way. They got some problems there. It's not
What's
running
wrong with
that
the
great.
audio? Like, give me an example.
There'll be times where like I've personally experienced this just in the little bit I've played, walking around with a friend, with my teammate, with Hydro, and there'll be someone shooting and it's loud as shit for me. And I'm like, where do you think those shots are from? I don't hear any shots. Those shots are like, they sound like they're like 20 meters away. I know it's an SKS. Like, where do you think they're coming? I don't hear any shots. It's like, what? And then
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then
that's terrible.
And then you'll be walking through the bush. So we've been playing some woods, and like you'll brush against the brush, and it makes that noise. It's like, I'm not making that noise. And Hydro's like, yeah, you are. I can hear every brush you're hitting. But like on my screen, I'm silent, moving through everywhere. But I'm emitting sound, but I'm not hearing the sound I'm emitting.
Right.
And then in and out of buildings, like some of the in and out of buildings, instead of like still hearing stuff outside, it completely cuts you off. So like if there's somebody outside shooting, or like the bunkers, like scav bunker, I was having a gunfight with the scav, and Hydro was just right down the stairs, but I was standing on top of him and he didn't hear a thing. So like
that's crazy.
There's some problems, and like
the directional audio is just like way off.
They're supposed to be working on it, but I don't know, man. It's in a rough spot. So I've just been dabbling in it. I hope it'll get there. I worry that Tarkov's like too ambitious, but we'll see if they get it sorted out. They got a lot behind them support wise. A lot of people playing it. It's a 1-of-1 game. There's nothing like it. So I mean, it'll probably succeed, but
I heard you say ambitious. In what factor? How do you see that?
Man, I think a lot of the things going into it. So like a lot of the details, I mean, if you just think about the coding behind the ammo and how it reacts with the armor. You have a chance of penetration. You have a probability of if it fragments and causes more damage. You have a ricochet chance. You have a pin chance with the armor. It also takes down armor depending on where it hits and what shape your armor's in and how many times it's been repaired. And just like with a single bullet, the amount of computations that have to go on server side, plus you have all this stuff going on in the server. You have all the loot, who has it, where the scavs are, and that has to be synchronized across everybody's client. I think there's just so much going on.
Okay, so ambitious in the factor of detail.
Yeah.
In what's in the experience. That's amazing. Okay, now that's amazing to me because overall the premise, the grand scheme of the premise is pretty straightforward. I don't really think that's too ambitious at all. But like you said, with the nuances of the gameplay, ammo types, penetration, now I understand that.
Yeah, the detail and definitely like the end state, because I think the end state is you have all the different maps, and the end goal is always it's going to be you can travel between maps. They're all one, so it would be one giant map essentially. Right. That's way down the road.
And they want to do in-game traders too. And then you think like the AI is a whole nother massive challenge for them. Getting this, because the scavs are such a big part. The bosses, the raiders, the rogues, the new lightkeeper, like all that stuff is hugely immersive and part of the game, and it's all AI and it has to be programmed. It's so easy for that to be chalked and ruin the experience. The scavs, like at the start of the wipe, everybody was getting smoked by them because the recoil is so insane. And it's just this wipe, Veritas did a really, really good video about how they're almost trying to chase too much realism to make the game not fun, and then they're neither realistic nor fun gameplay wise. Like how in the fallacy of being realistic, like
sounds about right.
Like he gave some examples on how like older Tarkov, before they added a lot of these features that are kind of just noise and busy work, it was a lot more fun. Gunfights lasted longer. They were more about tactics and position. Like you worried about gunfights where your enemies were, where your friends were, rather than have I eaten a granola bar lately? Like,
oh no,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I can't stand when you take the survival aspect and then you crank it up, and then it's like you're not even worried about the gameplay. Like you're worrying about like, oh, should I drink this bottle of water right now? Like that to me kills me, and that's why I didn't play Scum. Scum is like a person manager. Right. I don't have time for that. Yeah. I want to have fun. I want to have encounters. I love your cat, by the way. I want to have encounters with things. I want to have fun. Like, bro, my time is precious. And when I log in, I want to have fun. I want to have experience. I want to smile. I don't want to have to worry about things that are like, I don't want to say trivial because they make it very important, but I don't want to worry about that corny stuff. Like I really, that's not fun to me. Managing my hydration, hunger, that's not fun to me.
That was a really big point. Oh, go ahead, Buff.
I was just gonna say, I think like once you get it, when you start playing Tarkov, I mean that stuff is pretty easy. I think because it's pretty obvious. Like it's pretty obvious when you need it, but definitely, like some instances to that is you can't. Maybe you didn't bring water, you used all your water, and maybe you can't find something. You die of dehydration, things like that. But also, there's always just like with Tarkov, that needs to be like if you're gonna be good at that game and level up and all that stuff, that's gonna be like your life, because like you need to put in 10-hour days every day to get to the spot, even with the flea market and the traders, to level all that up and get those missions done. A lot of us don't have that amount of time to play that game, which is why I did like 2 or 3 wipes. I would get up to like the level 20s, sometimes up to the 30s, but I mean, and then the problem is like once the wipe happens, you got to do all that over again.
That kills me.
And for me personally, I just like getting up to decent trader levels, having the flea market, building my Gucci guns, and going in with some like really nice PvP is always just like what I love about the game. But to have to just like, spend like a month and a half or more of daily Tarkoving, like you said, it takes the fun out of it. And then by the time you get there, it's like, oh, wipe time. So then you miss it.
No, I totally get that.
Yep. And then like the other thing that was exactly down the road of what you guys are saying. Sorry, boomer brain. It'll eventually process and I'll spit it out. He was talking about how it was much simpler back then. There wasn't a flea market. There weren't a lot of traders. And like, if you died, it was like 6 or 7 clicks. You were kitted back out and ready to go back in, and you were back in a raid within a couple minutes. Like right now, it's like, if you make it out, you have to look and see what you need to keep, put it in your junk box. There was before the hideout. Now you have to see if you need it for your hideout, upgrade that. Then you know, and it's gotten farther. It's made it like more like an MMO and stuff like that. Love it or hate it. Some people love it, love that immersion. For me, I'm with you, Buff. I've had some of the most amazing gunfights in that game with friends, and like on the woods. I can even remember it. Like there was an airdrop. Yeah. We were over on the beach by the scav village, and like it was 2-on-4, me and Hydro, and just repositioning call outs. Is that you? Is that you? Like, oh man, like it lasted like 10 or 15 minutes. And the more of that I can get, I'm in. And some of that is like the looting and the crafting and getting stuff and extracting with it, and what you have on your person adds to the tension of those gunfights. It makes them that much better. So I get why it needs to be that, but it's almost just added too much to where it's, in my opinion, where it's starting to diminish the gameplay a little bit and get a little bit too busy work. But
yeah, the gunfights are the best. Gunfights are awesome. Like you said, you remember those gunfights, and I swear to God, the amount of heart attacks I've probably almost had playing Tarkov. Like you get in those firefights and your heart is just going, and you're like freaking out, or like a gunshot come out of nowhere, and you're just like, you jump and your heart's going, and it's like kind of like a horror game too. It's
okay, crazy. It is. Tarkov's a horror game.
Check this out though. Have you guys played the alternative? Have you played Marauders?
I have not.
I haven't. I watched people play. I know what it is. I haven't played it.
Gentlemen, got to check that out.
Yeah.
Got to check that out. Got to check that out. I remember when Fry first was playing it, and I was not a believer. Like me and Fry always go, we have this struggle of like, yo, Fry, check out this game. Or he'll suggest me something. I'll suggest him something. And I remember watching Marauders, and I was like, I don't know if this is going to hit for me. I played the game, and I really enjoyed what I played. It had me a lot more immersed into the game, because it kind of takes out all the system management from Escape from Tarkov. Like you still have to manage things, but it's not on such a hardcore extent at all. You don't have to worry about bullet ballistics and things like that in most instances, but there is a premium to pay to actually play the game. It's not free to play. I believe it's around $30 or whatever the case is. It's in early access, but I will say this, however, very unique experience and super, super fun. Now you gentlemen are making me smile, because I have a feeling if you two played that, I have a feeling you boys would be like, Abel, different.
It looks different. It looks weird.
Listen. I trust me. I wasn't a believer. I was like, come on, because all I knew was like, yo, if you're not doing Escape from Tarkov, like, what are you doing? It's either that or Hunt Showdown in my world. It's like you either go Hunt Showdown or you go Escape from Tarkov. I'm like, wait, there's a middle ground? Like somebody's doing something in the middle that's really working well. Right. Marauders is that. Marauders is definitely that all the way. And it's not something that's insulting for you guys to play. If somebody, like, you'll still have respect amongst men when you say you play Marauders. Yeah, like you say that with some of these other like wannabe extraction thing, and it just doesn't hit the same. But Marauders is that caliber that I could see Buff playing. I could see Crash playing easily. Like it's a man's game. It really is. And I think you guys would enjoy it. Seriously. You guys, I would love to hear in the future if you guys ever catch the game on a sale or heck buy this week or whatever the case is. I would love to hear some feedback from you guys, because I think that's a healthy alternative to the Escape from Tarkov experience.
I should try it. I watched a lot. Buff, what's your alternative to Escape from Tarkov? As honestly, if I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Marauders is something I really haven't seen it much. I definitely gotta check it out and look at it more and see if I can get in and play that. But like DMZ for me right now is kind of my go-to right now is DMZ, just because it has the same like grinding factor for that you get with Tarkov to some extent. It's just a much more drastically watered down version, but the PvP is still a lot of fun. And I mean, you can kit out your weapons however you want. So it's like the most exciting part of DMZ for me is before each raid is like, okay, what am I going to bring in now? And then build some goofy stuff and go in, and we get like 9 to 12 operator kills some games. It's crazy. So I really like that. Any like you said, Abel, anything like Hunt Showdown, any of those, there's a lot of alternatives there. And I think DMZ is kind of like a good bridge between
I totally agree.
the more hardcore
I'm with
and
you.
all that.
But and you know what? I forgot to even mention DMZ. DMZ is actually, in my opinion, for Modern Warfare, for an online experience, if you had to go between Warzone, DMZ, and just traditional multiplayer, I would say the most standout is DMZ, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's the one that resonates with me the most. Unfortunately, because I'm more of a traditional round-based search and destroy, let's get it in type of guy. That's me. But let's be honest, they're not really hitting the mark right now. And I'm not going to give you that credit and be like, oh, yeah, this is where you need to be at, when that's not the case. That's honestly not that. So we have to go to DMZ, and DMZ is that. DMZ is the
it's definitely, I think it's carrying Modern Warfare too,
bro,
for sure.
All the way, Buff,
sure.
all the way. I can't argue with that.
I'm pretty sure I'm the only one on the planet that doesn't enjoy DMZ that much. I respect it. Like it's great. It's well balanced. I think it's got a massive amount of potential. I made a video on things that I think they could add to make it a lot better. But I just don't. And what's
not sticking, Crash? Like, what's not sticking? Like,
why am I there?
Okay. Oh, okay.
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 Well,
okay.
And Buff's answer is, I totally get it, is the PvP fights, like, and I get that, like the unpredictability of it. Like, maybe you're going after this task, you see a squad, you want to work on this, let's go take these guys out. And then Buff was telling me about like I think it was you telling me about it, like a 10 or 15 minute fight you had with a squad. Was that you, or that might have been Justin telling me. Justin was telling me that on his stream about like a really big fight where people were getting rezzed and it just went on for a long time. And I think that's cool. For me, like when I play COD, like, if I want PvP, it's like I'll play S&D, and I've been playing the shit out of S&D in this game. Like, I really like that. And for the same reasons that you do, probably like the teamwork, the instant action, like in every round has that tension, right? Like you don't get to come back. There's no respawns, and so you can pull off clutches and you're in constant communication with your friends. But I see that in DMZ too. But for me, it's like the quests. It's already hard to get Crash on quests. And then when I'm already maxed out at 250, so the XP isn't anything. And then the contraband is stuff that I'm going to lose within the next 2 raids, probably potentially to AI swarming me. It's like the rewards just aren't that much, but I get it. I have a lot of fun. I'll play like 2 or 3 raids with my friends, and we'll have a really good time. And it's like a warm up. It's like, now you're ready to go sweat and search. Like, and that's what we do.
Okay.
So
I respect that. Yeah.
I'm a DMZ fan. I'm just not a DMZ enjoyer right now, but I respect it. I think they've done a really good job at doing what it sounds like Marauders did, is making Tarkov like game loop more accessible. I think they did a really good job of that.
Yes. And again, just how Marauders is running like tempo wise, I think you guys will be more engaged with that, because I see what you're saying. I see where you're hinting at, Crash. Like, you just want a more immersive experience. Like, you want something to keep you busy. And bro, listen, I'm actually getting excited now. Now you're making me want to go back to it now. But Marauders, that's different. It's different. It's different. The only thing about it though, personally for me, I just wish it resonated with more people. Like, it's unfortunate because it's one of those instances of how I felt with Hunt Showdown. Hunt Showdown, a lot like I felt like when the game first came out, I felt like I was in a bubble by myself. Like it was a secret to play Hunt Showdown. Like, it was like, yo, guys, have you played Hunt? No, nobody was paying attention to it. Then down the road, then Jack Frags finally picks it up. Hey guys, today I played I'm like, bro, where you been? This shit. Oh, I'm sorry. This been out.
No, say it. Go ahead. Give it all you got.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't
okay.
care.
My man, thank you. But I was like, yo, this been out like for a couple of years now, and a lot of people were very hands off, didn't know about, didn't want to give it a shot. But it's one of the best extraction shooters out, and I had no clue why nobody's playing it. But I will say this: I think it's because of the darkness in the world of Fortnite, PUBG, all these things that are trying to accent things with color. Which I love color. I like, look at me. I love color. I love bright. I love that's me. But I get where some people are like, bro, it's like looking at the game looks depressing. I get it. Like it's like the setting, the colors, everything looks drab. I get that. You wanted some color in your life. I understand that. So
I feel
yeah.
sorry. I also feel
no, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt. That's
No, you're
rude.
good. Shame on you.
I feel like there's also a little bit of disconnect between, and obviously it's a successful game, especially for an indie game by any metric. But I mean, like, there's a little bit of disconnect for people that generally enjoy that type of gameplay loop and the setting. I feel like especially like Buff and myself, like if it was like a modern military type setting with those mechanics and that audio, I've heard that audio is like top tier, like god tier audio, would be. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't played it. I watched it. I know, like, I haven't played it. I think it would be a little bit more successful and maybe garner like a wider audience, maybe if it wasn't like such an abstract setting with like.
I totally agree. I think in the case of a Hunt Showdown, it would be highly popular if the theme was different. A lot of these games suffer from wrong theme, wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
Like so it's like why do you think Call of Duty everybody loves military shooters? We fucking love military. Like the world loves military. So it's like it's sellable. It's but when you take something and it's like, yo, we're gonna put you in 1846 back here on the bayou and like it's different vibes. Like people like, I'm not feeling that. Like I like bro, like come on, like yeah, I get slavery flashbacks and shit. Like shit's crazy. So I'm like, yo, like this may not be everybody's vibe. But then you have something that's on the polar opposite of Marauders. We're in the stars. We're in space. We're now exploring different space stations and vast space battles that you could have in your ships and things. But Marauders, no, both of them are lit. But Marauders is a unique, and it's different. It's different, and I respect it, but it's not sellable to a lot of people. It would literally take me telling you guys, you got to check it out. You guys aren't going to bat an eye at it. I literally would have to take one of your friends to sacrifice that time and be like, hey guys, you know what I fucked around and played? I played Marauders, and that thing actually, it's like back in the day when you didn't have reviews or anything, and you learned about games from your friends,
right?
Like
exactly.
that's the way you're going to discover Hunt Showdown and different things like that. You're not going to by nature look for this type of title. By nature, we look for military. We look for one life round based stuff. Like we look for those Escape from Tarkov type experiences. Like
I think it's because like those are more relatable too. It's like modern military is just everyone can relate to it. Then you get stuff like World War II titles that used to be hot, but those are all played out, and now it's like all the content is there in the modern setting. That's what I was saying. Like you said, the more appealing would be a modern military. It's like we were talking about this a couple episodes ago. Is what was that battle royale supposed to be from Ubisoft that was Tom Clancy that got canned?
Frontline.
Frontline.
That's exactly it. Yep.
So we were talking. I was thinking about that. I know that got canned as a battle royale and everything. But it's like I was floating the idea out. What if it never had a Tom Clancy title on it? What if it maybe even wasn't even developed by Ubisoft, or that game eventually is repurposed, not a battle royale, and it's an extraction shooter that's similar to maybe Hunt Showdown, but you have it in that modern type era? Because I thought that one kind of looked. I mean, basically, just give me like an Insurgency Sandstorm graphics and stuff like that, and like an extraction shooter.
Buff, you're
Things
talking
like
to
that,
me, baby.
ready to
You're
go.
talking, bro. I'm totally with, bro. That's what I was saying. Like, so I seen Frontlines. I embraced it. I was like, wait, look. Of course, the popular thing is to jump out the window and be like, "Yo, fuck Ubisoft! Oh, here they're back at it again. Here they go."
I thought it looked cool. I was looking forward to it.
Thank you,
I did
Buff.
too.
I'm with you. I thought it looked cool, but dare I say, hey, this looks actually like it could be something. Like, no, you're smoking. Like Tom Clancy, this isn't a Tom. Listen. Like, and that's the part that really pisses me off because people have to understand they're going to use these brand names. They have paid for these names. So if they want to use
they're reusing all the assets. So it's like
that's what
you can't not say it's Tom Clancy when you have all the assets there.
Right. Like, what are we, a couple of degrees off? And the thing is this. No, I don't even want to say a couple of degrees because I know there's like a
right.
holy grail someplace where it's like, you're wrong, brother. But I'm gonna say this, like you have to embrace the new shit. Like I get it. I totally understand. Like it's not treading in the footsteps that we know of its past. Like we know what the franchise came up on. We understand that clearly. But you have to understand this is 2023 and this is what AAA production does. Yeah. They're going to go for the cash. They're going to go to what they feel people would be interested in. And again, for us geezers, us old guys, we might be like, well, this may not be, but for millions of other, this looks cool. This looks great. They're the majority now. Tough titty. You got to deal with that.
Especially when you look at like Ghost Recon, Tom Clancy, like where those came from. They started as almost like not quite Milsim, but it was like a tactical strategy. Yes. You would direct your squads, all that stuff, and that's only going to appeal to a very small margin of players out there nowadays.
Totally.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see that come back and repurposed at some point. Because
I would like to see it, Buff. I would like to
Defiant, right? That's what I asked the question. I posed the question on the show a while back, is like, because X Defiant was another one that had Tom Clancy. Everyone hated it. You know, it didn't look any. There's more reasons I think to hate on that than there was Frontline.
I totally agree. Agree.
If Frontline was just called Frontline when they debuted it, and there was no Tom Clancy references at all, and I think it would have been received differently. But it's interesting it got canceled. I'm curious, the reasoning behind it, because they did a beta test and everything too. So I just maybe the negativity behind it and some other factors, I'm sure.
And the world was saying another BR. But my thing is this. But my thing is this. Like, it's like, what BR is really doing it right? What BR is really taking the crown? Like,
Firestorm.
Like, look.
Could have been something.
Dude, okay. Cat's out of the bag. I feel like I know you well enough now, Abel. You're not going to disown me and block me on all platforms.
Oh no.
I'm a Battlefield 5 truther, man. I love that game and still do. I played it last night. I came back to Battlefield last night on my Twitch stream, and like I had a great freaking time, man. That's how I built. So I tried to build my channel on 2042 when it started to get talked about, because I'm just like a Battlefielder.
Which one? Battlefield 1 was with the
World War One,
the Harlem Warfighters and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 5 was World War II. Yeah.
Got you. Crash. I am Battlefield. I love Battlefield. I've been a fan since 1942, playing it in my computer class. Like, I love Battlefield. I will always love Battlefield. I honestly, it would always be Battlefield over Call of Duty for me personally. I'm a Battlefield guy.
For everybody.
I'm a Battlefield guy all the way. No, don't you do? But I'm with you there. Like, and to be honest with you, a lot of people would say this and disagree with me here. I don't even feel like Battle Royale has been perfected yet. The crown, the king of the hill right now is Fortnite, right? Like that's the king of the hill.
Right,
unfortunately, in the sense of like, unfortunately, because I say this, unfortunately, because I actually like third-person shooters, but Fortnite's really good. If we had to break down all the gameplay features and what to do, it's an exquisite title. You can't get around that. You can't get around. I don't care. You could be a hater all day and be like, oh, I don't like that. They're killing it. I would play Fortnite over PUBG, and PUBG's a more of an Abel Green type of game. Like, I like the military. I like that vibe, but the gameplay in a PUBG just doesn't resonate. does not resonate, does not translate well. Like
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Fortnite, on the other hand, has a little more consistency, feels good, solid. You could very accessible for your friends. Like they do everything right. PUBG, it feels it just doesn't pull me in. And bro, if we could have a frontline buff, bro, I would go for that. I would give it a chance. I'll gamble with that.
Yeah, I thought it would have been interesting.
Yeah, it would have been definitely.
But yeah, with Battlefield, man, like I would be, I don't know what I would do. I would take my clothes off and run around outside. I'd be so happy if they just did DLC for Battlefield 5. I think the mechanics for that engine, that game released in 2018, and it is the best looking multiplayer shooter graphics wise. I was playing it last night, everything maxed out settings wise, playing 1440p with another monitor running, streaming from the same machine, and I was staying over 160 frames, and it looks like that. And it has amazing movement. I like the healing mechanics. Like I like the squad revive mechanics. That's the first one where you could revive your squad even if you weren't a medic, and it was slow, but it kept people playing together. And my next series on my YouTube channel is going to be instances where DICE left so much potential on the table. It's going to start with Firestorm, then it's going to be Battlefield 5, because when that Pacific DLC came out, that trailer, everybody was so hyped. It's like, we got the Pacific Theater, they fixed the time to kill, this game looks great, we got like 3 maps, it's really going to turn around. And then they said, no, we're abandoning it to work on the next one, which turned out to be 2042. But just when that game started and people really loved like the grittiness and art style of that trailer, the maps that came with the Pacific were awesome. And it's like, then they left so much on the table because they covered like the lesser known conflicts of the war. And they had so many of these iconic battles, these Eastern Front battles, these other theaters of war that they just completely didn't do. On
like
that
D-Day
engine,
and everything. Oh my God.
And if you would have had,
what a miss.
If you would have had, and even with operations, so you had operations so fully fleshed out and really fun to like learn the stories and stuff of World War I and Battlefield 1. Can you imagine having like a Battle of the Bulge with like the German tanks running out of fuel and stuff and reenacting that in like World War II and Battlefield 5? Like there's just so much they just left on the table with that game, and they did it over and over again. They've done it with Incursions, they've done it with Firestorm, they've done it with 2042, they've done it with Portal. They just start with these ideas, they abandon them at the first sign of adversity, and they move on. And it's,
you know what I really like, I'm not known to play Battlefield stories, right? So the last one I played and completed was actually Battlefield 1. And when they had the war stories, I thought that was genius. I like,
and that fits right in live service too, right? Like you could keep having new war stories.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yo, actually, yes, that actually would have been genius. But they didn't go down that route. But the war stories reminded me of like, I don't know if you guys know about this, but Tales of the Crypt.
Yeah.
Like so you know how everybody has their short stories of like their life's events in these like catastrophic times or whatever. Like you can get a little slice of what they went through. And I thought war stories was so nice in that way. I was like, yo, this is a good way to tell a story. It's like everybody's in this, but there's so many stories to tell. So many people are seeing it from different point of views. And it's nice that like, hey, you could hop into the seat of this guy's experience. You could hop into the seat of this this lady's experience. Like it was very nice. I really respected how Battlefield 1 went that route. And I think that would be a classy way for a lot of games to tell stories. Like not even go so like open world or straight linear. Just have little stories you tell. And I think that would be really, really cool in my opinion.
I agree. It would have been sweet. There's so much what if with Battlefield. We don't have to harp on it because we've covered it here.
Just in general,
I mean, even just thinking about Portal right now, like they have a way to remaster those maps and put them in where you can blend them and do user generated content, and they haven't added a single map to Portal. And everybody, especially buffs, like crying for like a BF3 remastered. Like, why could they not remaster all those maps and put them in there and let people
you know
play
what?
it?
That's what disappointed me the most is getting in there after you played like Battlefield 3 part of the Portal and rotated the 2 maps for a couple hours and played with all the weapons. You were like, all right, I need more of this, and they just haven't added anything. And the other thing is like, even, whatever portion of Portal you're playing for whichever Battlefield, like the weapons are so limited for each one. Why haven't they brought in more Portal weapons? Like if you look at BF3 for an example, I mean, there was a lot of just the base weapons from launch. There was a huge amount, and they had maybe in the Portal like 2 to 4 weapons per class, if that, I think. And I feel like they left out a lot of the more iconic ones. So I mean, they've added a few here and there, it seems like, but I mean, yeah, huge missed opportunities.
I would have to agree with you there, Buff.
Huge
Like,
missed opportunities.
Yeah.
I can't like Operation Metro, like in those like
Oh my
Siege of
God,
Shanghai,
Amazing.
if they and Dam Van Peak and Zavod, and if they put some of those maps in, those fan favorite maps in, it's an easy layup.
And
like
you know what's
people would come back
is
and be amped.
They would. And the dumb thing is, the most fun I had with Battlefield 2042 was in Portal. It was on launch
Buff,
night
I'm
playing
right there with you. I'm
Battlefield
right there
3
with
Portal,
you.
and then the Milsim stuff. Like they had Milsim server, like Karmakut had a Milsim server, and there was other Milsim servers. Now, and Milsim, it wasn't really, it's just no HUD, limited HUD, all that stuff. And it was just made it so much more immersive. You bring all the Battlefield 3 maps, DLC, which is what we talked about a million times. And I even chat here was just talking like, what if Battlefield did an extraction mode? I mean, it's crazy because Battlefield, it's so weird watching kind of where we are now, because it's almost Call of Duty does Battlefield better than Battlefield almost, to an extent. Obviously, there's peak Battlefield, which can never be topped. Can never be topped, but it's like they just keep dropping the ball. Battlefield was built for these large scale extraction battle royale type stuff, and you're watching kind of the competitors, or what used to be the competitors, surpass you. It's kind of, I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this.
This is supposed to be a happy podcast. We can't be talking about Battlefield much longer. You're going to see a grown man cry.
Yeah, man. Three grown men crying.
Yeah, but it's scary. And you say surpass, like that's that's insulting to say to me. Actually, like it's like surpass. Like Modern Warfare, in my opinion, is doing the bare minimum.
Right.
Like I said this plenty of times in videos. Modern Warfare is very vast and wide, very shallow.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I'll give you everything. You got you have search, you have your multiplayer, you have Warzone, you have DMZ, you have these big battle experiences, you have the raids. We'll give you it all. You play it, very shallow experience.
Right.
Very shallow. So it's like you're not doing me any favors by giving me all this shit, because it's not worth the shit.
There's no depth to it.
There's no depth to it.
Which is even crazier, because you're 100% right. And then it's like, who's gonna, this is what we were saying with like Warzone 1 and Modern Warfare 2019, is like, somebody can come along and that's what we thought 2042 was going to do, is like Warzone 1, you look at the state that game was in and everything, it's like Battlefield just needs to come out, and there's, like you said, there's not a lot of depth there. Battlefield can bring that.
Oh yeah, they can
destroy it.
Oh bro, they can. That's what they do.
It's like they just got to do it. They just got to do it, because you're right. It's so weird, because Call of Duty, the depth isn't there, but nobody has taken advantage of that opportunity to surpass that.
Yeah.
Buff, and you're nailing it. We're seeing principles of games and examples of experiences that we should see more of, that could be refined and that could be genuinely just fucking good.
Yeah.
And you don't see nobody take that risk and be like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna step up and do it. Like, it's like, bro, we have these fucking AAA attempts at these half-ass experiences, bro. They're just fucking garbage. And it just repeats every fucking year. And you know what gets us all is the marketing. The marketing is very well. And I have to give them credit there, because you got me. And then but honestly, once I was able to actually like double down and actually experience Call of Duty overall. I'm like, you motherfuckers did it. You did it to me again.
Every year.
Like you got me. Like, and it's like, bro, Abel, you knew this was gonna happen, but why? Like why was this supposed to be different? I think because of the whole theme of the game and the military. I'm a military sucker. Like, bro, like I'm a Battlefield guy, so I'm like, anything, the gun, so I had to try it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when I tried it, I was like, damn it. I had to pull my boys to the side. I'm like, guys, we got fucked again. Like real shit. Like the first 2 weeks I was in heaven. I was in heaven. And you know what? And I actually put out this tweet, and I'm kind of ashamed of it. I wish I could take it back now, but I was like, Modern Warfare, I think I'm past the honeymoon phase. I think this is real. So like that was genuinely how I felt though.
Yeah.
But it's like, Abel, we did the same trick, but we held the carrot a little further out, and you tread with us just a little longer, but we got you. And then once time sunk in, and the 20 tick servers came back on, and all the bullshit started happening, I'm like, bro, this is the same shit we fell for. I had a clap. I was like, yo, bravo, you got me again. Like, you're doing the same fucking shit
the 2042 marketing, prime example. 2042 marketing. I think everyone was like, this is gonna kill Call of Duty. We were all so hyped, and then we were just I was one of the idiots that spent $120.
Same here,
dude. I spent a year busting my ass to grow my YouTube channel around this game because I wanted to be the Battlefield 2042 guy. And it came out like this podcast is a direct result of that game falling through, and I still wanted to make content, so I pivoted to adding this in as part of it.
And I was excited because I always wanted to be a Battlefield YouTuber. Like my Call of Duty,
I respect
my Call of Duty thing was just pure right place, right time, and I was like, all right, Battlefield, finally. You know, I didn't take it seriously back in Battlefield 3 when I should have. Like, this is my chance, and then.
Then we got FTX. That's just crazy.
Wasn't it? So
crypto baby.
Like we said in the beginning of the show, another 3 years we'll try it again.
Yeah, man. And it's in shambles. Like in the way AAA gaming is now, like we have no home to run to. We have nothing. There's nothing that we could really like find like our say. So, well, actually, I would say for you guys, like you gentlemen, I wouldn't even say it's your main game, but I would say Escape from Tarkov is like your guys' little home away from home type of thing. And I feel like that's the life cycle that we're all in right now. I feel like we're all playing things to buy time for like something we really want to invest time
I'm
in.
having to switch around with games to keep me in it. Like I've been playing Battlefield 5, I've been playing Tarkov, I've been playing S&D, I've been playing Siege. Like, and I just have to rotate.
You have to play. You have to rotate. Yeah. If you don't, your sanity as a shooter enthusiast, and I would say all of us are to some degree, you will fall out of love with it if you just marry this one thing that's not working. Like, it's like,
bro, and I learned that with content too, the hard way, apparently. Like varying myself to the one game and covering it so extensively, but that happened.
No, but don't beat yourself up.
But I think Firestorm, just to put a cherry on this top, you guys got me fired up. All right, I'm gonna say,
go ahead.
I think it was the very best battle royale that never was. The graphics, that map was absolutely gorgeous. What no one is saying right now is that was a BR. So like all these BRs, like Apex has the heroes and was the first one to have a way to like buy back people. Fortnite has the building, like that's its special thing. That has I'm trying to think. Warzone had like, streaks, like UAVs and loadouts was like its thing. Yeah. This was a battle royale that looked gorgeous, that had destruction. You have people camping in a building, which one of the most tilting things in a battle royale when you're playing it, and someone gets the circle pole and they're in a building and you're in the open. There's nothing you can do about it. In Firestorm, you have someone with the bazooka and you blow that son of a bitch up, and we're all on the same playing field now, pal. Like it was so good. It was so good. And it was one of the first ones to also put in other what do I want to say? things to do, other missions, objectives. So it had the objectives you could capture that dropped good loot. So like it had elements of the Battlefield built into it. It had vehicles. The vehicles were really well done. They had hardly any gas. You had to find gas, and there was anti-vehicle equipment all over the place. And then I've been working on a video to talk about this, and then Tactical Brit and Westy and some other larger creators were tweeting about this, about how they were in the meetings and they said this needs to be free to play. And the developers were like, but we can't do anything about it because the higher up said it needed to be into Battlefield 5 to add value to it. If this would have been free to play, we'd still be playing it.
Battlefield 5 would still have some support probably. So, and
they totally missed the mark by trying to get Battlefield players to play Battle Royale, and all they want to do is play Battlefield rather than get the Battle Royale craze, all those fans, into some of the Battlefield mechanics and say, oh shit, I can do this in Conquest all the time. I can drive these tanks around. Well, I'm gonna buy the game. Let's play that. It sounds fun.
They didn't. It's crazy too because they didn't learn their lesson with Hazard Zone. I mean, despite Hazard Zone, maybe not. I know a lot of people had a lot of fun with it, but again, I remember
I had fun with it.
I was one of them. A lot of people that played it did. There was, on PlayStation there was the voice over IP issue, so I never really got into it at all, unfortunately, because of that issue. But I know everyone who I've talked to in my community loved it, and it's so weird because when they announced that it wasn't free to play, everybody on Twitter was like, "This is a big mistake," and then what was it? A couple months later, they said that there's not really going to be support anymore for it. But so I mean, I agree, Crash. Battlefield 5 Firestorm was, I've been seeing a lot of tweets about it lately. It was a lot of fun to watch. I remember all the creators really, really liked it right off the bat. There was like the loot dropping issue where it was all
it didn't spread out.
Yeah, but everyone was like, this feels way better.
They fixed that and they speed up. They fixed that and sped up the circle or added more players.
Right.
They'd be dialed in.
Yeah, and that was something that I don't. When did that come out? That didn't come out the same?
It came out a month after Apex Legends.
Okay.
It came a month after free to play Shadow dropped Apex Legends.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's like you can play Apex Legends that Dr. Disrespect and Shroud and everybody's playing right now for free, or you can pay $60 to buy Battlefield 5. And so, I mean, they just killed
check this out, gentlemen. Yeah. They're on the same team.
Right. Yeah.
You're on the same team.
It's all EA. You're right.
It's
EA. So weird.
like what? Like who's? Like,
so
oh
weird.
My God. You're all on the same team, just knocking each other out. Like, bro, like totally.
Oh, yeah, for that. Yeah. And it's even crazier because like they're both EA titles, and the free to play. Look at how much money Apex made right off the bat.
Apex is amazing.
They're making so much. They're making so much all the time, and it's an EA title. And then you fast forward to 2042, and there was no free to play element for that. It's like if you're successful with this formula that you had, why are they? I'm not sure why they're doing that.
Right,
yeah, I don't know
like,
why
do
they
you
do
stray
that.
away from that?
Yeah.
Like you have something that's proven. Like,
instead of doing the free to play thing, they copied the specialists in 2042 for monetization. Instead, got rid of the classes.
Yeah, that went well.
All right.
And the thing that really sucks is because Hazard Zone was actually a good experience in my opinion.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It had a lot of lulls. Like there wasn't enough to really do in like how things are now, but it was still fun. I was still happy that Battlefield at least attempted that. I appreciated that. And just but preferably, I'm going back to Crash. I'm going back to Firestorm. That was the premier experience. I totally agree with them on that because I remember when I played, I was like, this is amazing. The loot sucked, how the loot disperses and all that. But overall, they've got something going here. But again, that's behind now a paywall. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
You can still find games on console. There's people playing it. There's a few Twitch streamers that still play it quite a bit. Yeah, you can find, if you have a PlayStation, you can find matches. I wish if I had a big community, I would like try to get people to play and we could all queue up at the same time and get in the same match, and we'd have a community night of Firestorm. I'd bring that back.
Oh yeah.
So I guess I don't want to get too caught up in that because we did a whole episode on Battlefield last time. We always go down the Battlefield hole.
We always do, yeah.
I'm
Big
sorry.
rabbit hole.
I'm not mad at it. Like we love Battlefield. All three of us.
So Abel, before we went live, you told me to talk about Battlebit. It's in the same lines as what we've been talking about. I had my first experience with it last week. So yeah, where are you at on that?
So you guys are gonna learn this about me here. I have a real passion for low poly type of games. I like low poly looking games. Believe it or not, I think they're really cool. I really dig the vibes. Shout out to Blue for putting me onto StalkCraft or whatever that is.
Yeah,
amazing.
That looks crazy.
I think that's really cool. Now, Battlebit, I love what Battlebit is doing. However, with the gameplay, there is some confusion on the board here. I can't tell friend from foe at times, and it seems like the rhythm of gameplay is very much run, die, run, die, run, die. Run. And I'm like, bro, I don't really even feel like I have gun battles. I feel like it's like pew, 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 gone. It's gone. I'm like, bro, I'm like, gentlemen, if you guys are playing your game, you have to have that struggle between your opponent for it to be fun. You have to have that measure of skill when you're shooting or ADSing. You have to be like, oh, I earned that. It feels very very you don't have a chance to fire back. You can't answer back. I noticed when most good shooters, most ones that we know in history, if somebody catches you off guard, you have an attempt to answer them back.
Right.
You have a chance to answer them back. Battlebit, you don't get that chance. You don't get that chance. I feel like I'm on Insurgency. Like I'm like, melt it. Go on. But I love Insurgency for that. Insurgency, it works because the maps are catered to it and all.
Yeah.
But imagine a big team battle. Like imagine a Battlefield experience where you can get two-tap constantly. That doesn't work.
You're 100% right. I mean, look at one example there is like Warzone. Even with the armor system, everyone's like the TTK is too crazy.
It's too, bro. It's like the devs. I can't believe you sit there and develop the game. I'm like, do you fucking play it? Is this fun to you? Is it two-tap? Oh yeah, two-tap. No.
Yeah,
and especially
I noticed
the way your game is, like it has an arcadey and an inviting feel to it. Let somebody like, hey, I'll give this game a shot. Once they get wrecked, they're never coming back. Never. Yeah. They'll be like, yo, you can't survive in this game.
It was a really rough experience for me for the first time. I did have fun and there was like charming aspects of it, and I had to like slow down playing. It wasn't like on Battlefield, I'm running around everywhere. I'm getting crazy. I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta slow it down to the point where, it's not fun because
it's not fun.
And you can't.
It's not fun.
You can't. I think I had fun because I was just experiencing all for the first time and I expected to get wrecked. But man, like if you encounter multiple enemies, you're taking one with you maybe, and
that's like the best part of some FPSs is like you run into like 2 or 3 guys, and if you're a better player, there's a high probability you can take out all of them.
Talk it.
I recorded. I was just saying I recorded a couple clips of me playing Battlefield 5 last night where I was 1v3 and 1v4 people because I could lean, I could shoot, I could slide and reload at the same time. I could take 4 or 5 bullets, and I take out the other 2. And it's like in Battlebit, it's like who sees you first? No chance. Whoever sees the person first, that's
done. Over. And look what you said though, Crash. You nailed it right on the head. You had these experiences where you were able to return fire, maneuver. The better player fucking won. The better player won. Period. In Battlebit and all that, bro. you don't get a battle at all. It's just bit.
I get what JD's saying in the chat. You can, if you get a good flank, you can take out 2 to 6 people. I'm sure. But as someone who was like fairly new and didn't know the maps yet, I was getting throttled. And I guess, and that could be part of the game. You got to play it more and learn the maps and learn the flank routes. If you're in a better position, you're going to do a lot better in that game. Like straight up. Like if you see the people before they see you, just like you're saying, that's a flank. It's the person who sees them first. Like it's going to win the fight.
Right. It's still a flank because even if you catch them, like bro, like you said, you see 3 to 4 guys, and it's just you.
It just
In Battlefield 5, I could work something. I could do something.
it felt really
Battlebit?
squad. Like it felt like
Yeah.
squad with the healing, and then
Mm.
like the no health regen without a medic and stuff. It's just like there was not very many. The
That's
gunfights
tough.
are so fast, but it's got
They're
a
so
lot of
fast.
promise. I don't want to talk shit on it too much because I think it's got a lot of promise. I think it's a few balancing changes away from being really fun, and I think the low poly thing is so neat, such a neat way to
I
look at
love
a
it.
game
I
like
love
that,
it.
where user
that's
generated content is going to absolutely thrive.
bro.
People can build maps so fast. The studio can
Mhm.
build maps so fast. Like it runs on a freaking smart fridge. Like it's gonna like there's so many cool things about doing it that way. So I think it's a
Yeah.
few balancing changes for being really fun. I don't want to just
Yeah.
shit on it. I was like you. I was completely floored by how fast the time to kill was. Like,
Yeah. Now, check me out. Now, the reason how come my conviction is so big in what I'm saying here, you have to understand this is I played this way long ago, way back. Still the same problems, still the same
Really?
issue. So I could double down and say, you motherfuckers aren't learning anything because literally, and I told the big fry too, run, die, run, die. Like even with map knowledge, even that, like I get it. Like, hey, you can find flanks and different things. Even with map knowledge, I would not want you playing a title that I produce and still can't have a gun battle and still feel like I have to, like, the only way for me to come up on you is to completely catch your back.
Right.
Like that's tough. And the thing is this, the draw distance for firefights could be a football field wide. Dudes are shooting for me and I could barely see them. They look like a pixel and they're gone. How is that fun? How is that fun? Like I can't see you, but I just see it looks like the map shooting at me. I can't stand that shit. It looks like the map shooting at me.
That's in I'm glad you brought that up because that's a common problem with a lot of some of these shooters. And because I haven't played Battlebit, I watched Crash play it the other week in his video, and I've looked at, I know a lot of my guys in the community, some people really like it and post stuff in the Discord, but I'm just going to use like Warzone 1 as an example. You look at what Warzone 1 was at the start, like those first 3 to 4 months, was that game where I'd be doing like solo content videos where I would just reposition, turn on people, win firefights, all that stuff that we just talked about that Crash you loved about Battlefield 5. And then you look at where it was when Caldera came out and you had like the World War II integration and all of that. Completely different game because the weapon mechanics, no recoil, the TTK was just got insane, was already at a point, but because there's no recoil, it's just catering to no skill gameplay. So the game like completely turned to where you typically weren't getting multi-kills unless you were abusing the meta, things like that. It's the same thing you're talking about with Battlebit Remastered here.
That's rough.
We see that with a lot of games, though. A lot of games, and then poor visibility, depending on what they do with the map at the time, the lighting,
yes, sir.
effects, it can make it to the point where I remember it wasn't one near the end there. I was just like, I can't even see anybody.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets to the point like it's like you watch your favorite streamers and everybody play it. They play very como dice pussy like. They play very football field away. I'll snipe you type of.
Hey, I'll do what I gotta
it's
do.
like, and that's their gameplay. It's like, bro, like you having these football field fight. It's like, bro. Like that's a Crash and myself. We go back to search and destroy, close quarters combat, where like you that's gonna stick around Rainbow Six. Be like, hey, you say around Rainbow Six because it's more to me. You see your opponent, you see where the bullets are coming from. There's not no crazy distance. I could take out multiple people with skill if I allow so to do so. Like there's a lot of questionable things in these shooters that like honestly, I need to come out with the 10 commandments and just fucking be like, yo, if you're not following this, you're gonna feel because 9 times out of 10, what I feel in my heart and judgment as far as gameplay, I'm very much correct. And it's just and these guys fail. And again, it upsets me because it's like, are you fucking playing your own game? Like, are you playing this and smiling? Are you playing this and smiling?
Definitely not. It's like, hey, here's the content this is the content that we're putting out, and no matter what, it's got to happen. So
Well,
it's
triple-
like
there you go.
time crunch. We don't have time to
Well,
test it
triple-
properly. All
AAA, no, there's Activision and EA patents where they have AI bots that test features and test their game. So they let the bots run simulation and see how it's balanced, and then ship it. Like it's
Seems
not
to be working out pretty well lately, huh?
right.
Yeah, they're
maybe they should put that one back in the closet for a while.
that's a really good point, JD. And if the devs even do play it, they're not going to be as high as skilled as the players that are going to exploit the systems, know how to use the mechanics to their full extent. They're
It's
not
like
going to.
they're gonna play it for what, like a few hours,
And then-
maybe a week, if that, and not consistently long term.
And then I think potentially like that kind of play testing stuff is one of the biggest problems with game development, that developers they need like pro players or really seasoned veterans or people who know FPS games to play it and give them feedback.
Yeah.
And where money's tight, operation cost, they're trying to cut back on all these operation costs, and they're letting bots test their games instead of people. Like that's just a huge problem.
For sure.
I'll say this though too, you got to be careful of the culture and the people too, because a lot of the things that the pros say
Completely different.
I don't agree with.
It's very niche. The vocal minority.
It's exactly.
so-
but it's like, but the pros carry the game in a way, in the sense of like, oh, they're bringing eyes to our game, so of course we're gonna listen to them. But the shit that they be saying, just listen to it. Just pay attention to what they say.
Whoa,
It's shit that you wouldn't agree with.
If you have different opinions about maybe Call of Duty or Warzone, and you voice them on Twitter, you'll get some. Trust me, you'll hear some good stuff.
Right.
This is perfect. This is a perfect topic. So we're talking about testing games. There's two games that are doing it a lot different. Dr. Disrespect's games with the flights and X Defiant with all the play tests.
Yes.
I know you've made some really good videos about X Defiant. Abel, what are your thoughts on that, where they're doing the play test, getting the feedback? And Mark Rubin on Twitter is saying some really good stuff about
bro, he's bold. I'm trying to
get
get an interview with him. I'm like, I need to talk to this guy because he's saying some crazy thing. Like, I don't mean crazy in a bad way. I mean, in all due respect, he's saying some things that really have me like, you're talking right. You're like you're selling me here. I'll say this about X Defiant. X Defiant is definitely, I used to say a round-based shooter, and I have to correct myself. It's very much an arena shooter, but it has the arcade premise around it that I feel you guys will respect and love, because you have true gunfights. You have things that are really evolved around objectives. They have this one mode that's really, really good. It's almost like Overwatch. Imagine the payload. The payload in Overwatch when you're moving the payload. They have that for X Defiant, and it plays it's so fun. It's so fun. And I started off a hater of the game. I started off, when I first played it, I had a big disdain. I was like, this doesn't feel right. This feels off. Why isn't this working? I stayed in the insider session. And shout out to my boy A-Town, who's like, Abel, I'm going to be here with you. Let's try it. Let's keep going. So week after week, month after month, gradually, I felt the difference. And I'm like, oh, gun battles. Oh, this is starting to feel okay. You finally have something here. And I'm so glad you got rid of Tom Clancy. I'm so glad that you made the right changes for me to be like, I got to keep an eye on
that game. That game might be like a shining example of turning a game around. Look at the negativity behind that and everything you're saying, and then I'm looking at gameplay from the original announcement trailer, and then to now, it looks like a different game. Yes. I didn't even recognize it. I was like, wow, that doesn't look anything like it was at first. So,
and some people think I'm insane for backing it, but like they just look at it and they just write, like, a lot of people look at it and write it off.
I mean, I'm looking at it now, and this is something I would play, which is I'm like it looks like something I'd play, and I don't do a variety of gaming, but same here. This looks like something I would have a good time with.
Same here.
I'm looking at it from an industry standpoint too. I'm really excited to see how these games that are more taking player feedback early on, how they turn out. Like X Defiant, like Dr. Disrespect's game, like Road to Vostok, where he's doing the player demos and getting that feedback.
Amazing.
So
amazing.
like those kind of games, I'm really keeping my eye out on and rooting for them to succeed, to like really trying to listen to players and incorporate that in the game as best they can. I'm hoping those games succeed. And that's why I think it's a stark difference between some of the AAA ones that need to get a game out. Let's test it with bots. Okay, the simulation ran fine. Send it to, we're going to do these insider sessions. We're going to take our time. We're going to listen. We're going to iterate, get feedback, iterate, get feedback, iterate, and then put the game out. So I'm rooting for them for sure.
Yeah.
That's like the old school way of doing it, though. That's kind of how it
that's
used to
the
be
way
done.
we came up. That's
Play
the way
testing,
it is.
there might be there'd be a beta at some point. I remember like Battlefield 3 when we saw like leaked alpha footage. It was like crazy. Everyone was pumped. Like that's how it used to be. So everything comes full circle. I think you're right. I think these games that we're seeing with these huge feedback loops are going to be the ones that are more successful and have stay power, except instead of here's everything, we're going to throw everything at you. Like Abel, you mentioned earlier, like Call of Duty, for example, throw everything there and there's not
nothing
the depth
there
to it, right?
Right.
Games back in the day used to have so much depth. Like Battlefield 2 Modern Combat on PlayStation 2 was like the amount of hours I put in that game was stupid. And why? Because the replay value was there. There was always something new going on. The depth for that game was there. So I think like something like this, X Defiant and others, if they can add the depth based on all that feedback loop, could have a revolution in the industry, or I guess return to form, we can call it, right?
And definitely. And going back to what Crash was saying, human tested, human approved. Like these were back in the trenches in the days where human feedback was everything. And it's very much like, guys, did you genuinely find this fun? Like, was this good to play? Like you could tell how lifeless some of these shooters come out, and you just feel it. You're like, this is cool for the beginning, cutting the ribbon and shit. Like, hey, brand new shiny new thing. But for the long haul, bro, you went bankrupt. like you're done. You're not gonna last.
That's the other thing I was gonna touch on, like just news wise, like the Ubisoft layoffs are insane. The 343 and Xbox layoffs are crazy. I saw the video by Yang Yao where he talked about the layoffs at 343, and like we were freaking out when they laid off like 800 employees at Microsoft in 2018. They laid off like 10,000 or something, like insane. And a bunch of them from 343 got let go. So like there's a lot of questions with Halo and stuff going on. And I just think these AAA studios are seeing the crunch from some of their decision making and not seeing the ROI. And what sucks so bad, and this is an idiot on the internet, that's me, looking at it from the outside, I feel like the devs get so much more shit than they deserve because of shitty decisions by upper management, making them like do bad marketing decisions, bad features and development to try to make money. Then when it doesn't work out, the devs are the ones that get laid off, and then we do it again. And it's really sad. That's what I feel like happening based on the news stories I see. I'm not 100% familiar with it. I'm talking out of my ass a little bit, but like if you just kind of do the math and read the news stories and what's out there, that's the vibe you get. And
but look at it this way. What if the development studios didn't have Twitter accounts, and it was the studio heads and the people making the decisions had the Twitter accounts that were associated with the game, right? Instead of Raven Software or Infinity Ward, what if it was like so-and-so's, like the personal Twitters, or there was a different group associated with the decision makers at Activision? They'd be the ones getting the hate. They'd be the ones getting fired and replaced and all that stuff, because they're the ones making the decisions. So I mean, it's weird. And developers get a lot of hate because they're at the forefront of it. They're the face behind the game, when they typically like don't have control over anything. This is your task. This is what we're doing. This is the timeline. Get it done. And if you can't get it done, we'll find someone that can.
Yeah, well said, Buff. And I'll say this here, like it's very much like Crash talked about the marketing and things. 9 times out of 10, the marketing does what it has like
their teams are killing it.
Marketing, they're popping bottles. They're like, oh, we did it again. like they're going crazy. But
they sold all those copies of Battlefield 2042. The marketing team is responsible for
even
those trailers, man.
even down to Halo Infinite, even with Halo
Yeah.
Infinite, a lot of people, I was excited. I can't even lie. I was like, oh man, Halo, new Halo, great. The marketing, that team, oh, they're golden. They're like, they can't be touched. But it's the people developing the game. They're biting their nails. They're nervous as fuck. They're like, they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna figure it out. Oh my god, they're gonna figure it out. Like, this shit isn't worth shit. It's not worth shit. But again, this sold on marketing, and then we find out. I would say roughly a quarter later, 3 months later, we really are like, bro, that this was fraudulent.
Well, and I think
this was terrible.
I think FPS gamers are the perfect group of people to quote. I'm not going to go as far to say predatory or target, but like, I guess you could say targeted marketing. We're a vulnerable bunch because it seems like lately we're always looking for the next great shooter. So we are primed and ready for some awesome trailers, and we're ready to see a snippet of gameplay, and we get amped over the littlest things because we need the next big thing, you know, because it's been stale.
About us. I hate that
we
about us.
We get bandwagon real quick.
Like we have no bro, we don't believe in wives on this side. It's all mistresses and side chicks.
Yeah,
like we have no wife.
I mean,
we're just out here. We're at strip clubs. We're looking at the oh, look at that ass. Oh, the tits on her. Oh, well, like, bro, we're not committed to fuck all, bro.
Yeah,
like we don't give a damn. Go ahead, Crash. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, it even gets to the point where certain people will get excited about games and even like put a bunch of hours into starting a YouTube channel about it. Who would do that? So yeah, wild.
I wonder.
So I made that little statement just so I'm not talking down to anyone. I'm not up here on my high horse, all right? My standing desk is lowered. I'm with you guys. Like, I'm not standing up. I'm on no high horse.
No, but my thing is this. People should get excited about new things. But I know the trend of our community. I know the trend. I know we don't stay committed to anything. I get excited personally when I see new games and things like that, especially things where I think might have staying power. That's what I really like to highlight. But most of the time, man, the culture, what we live by, is something not of merit at all. It's we're very in church Sunday, at the club Friday type thing. Like we'll focus on something and we'll be like, oh, this is cool. But imagine Battlefield went off without a hitch. Imagine it went off without a hitch.
That's hard to do.
Our community hard to do. You're definitely right, Chris. Definitely hard to think about. But imagine it was perfect. We'll still find something wrong with it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're always like, that's the one thing about like this gaming shit that I dislike, because even when you have something that's ideal for both you and I, we still find fault, and we still can't be like, guys, we actually have the thing we actually been waiting for this whole time. There's always something wrong. Nobody's ever satisfied. And and especially how live service gaming is now you are now graded on the content you provide throughout a life cycle of a game. So it's more pressure on the devs to stay ahead of schedule, to plan out the content, to make sure that these things are viable for both you and I to enjoy. It's a lot of unnecessary pressure that I feel like live service gaming has not really benefited gaming, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah,
I feel like it has done more damage than good. I honestly, live service gaming has changed a lot of us people into a lot of bitches, bro. Like we're picky and nit. Oh my God. Oh, where's the content? Back in the day, bro, you just sat with that. Like, what are you? Go ahead, Craig. Go ahead. I know you're going to say that. Go ahead.
Well, no. I was just saying I'm guilty. I'm with it, dude. Live services, and I have an incredibly negative view on it because of Battlefield, of course. Again, sorry, but and I'm not even talking about just Battlefield. Live service content gives those higher ups that make like resource decisions, financial decisions. It gives them too much flexibility to back out, to abandon a title, to give us less and less for the same amount of money. And live services shouldn't have inherently been a bad thing. There was no reason they needed to be. If we would have got the same amount of maps, the same amount of content that we used to with the premium, and just go, add the skins on top of that, because they do have, it's a business, they got to make money somewhere. That's fine. There's nothing that said, hey, we're switching to a live service, all post-launch playable content like maps and stuff are free. Nowhere in there did they say it's going to be free, but there's going to be way less of it. And the way they just left that open to interpretation, smart on their part, because they can see, well, we're not making enough money on transactions. We could have, for a lot of people who are playing it, if we needed to add maps, and there being no competition in the AAA first-person shooter space with Call of Duty clearly on the top by far, this leads into it. They don't have competition at this point. Why do they need to bust their ass and put out 4 maps every season for multiplayer? Why not just keep doing what they're doing and section off parts of Al Mazrah so we get the same setting and do 2 remastered maps from the last game, and that's good for 3 months? Why does Battlefield only do 1 map a season now? Because they know 2042 is essentially a loss going forward. Nobody's buying the skins for the specialists like they thought. So they have everybody working on the next one. They have a small team to put together the 1 map to cover what they said they would do. You'll get 4 seasons or whatever. They have no reason. They have too much flexibility to back out of the deal, back out of support if things don't start off well. And that's what they're exactly doing with a lot of franchises. Like there's nothing, like, that's my biggest thing. Like, people, and including myself, will be like right off the rip talk about how bad live services are. They didn't have to be. When they started, there was nothing.
Definitely didn't have
they didn't have to be, but they are.
No, they are. Like, and the thing is this: I hate bringing up a problem without bringing a solution.
Same.
Now, me, I consider myself a business person. I love business. I love talking finance. I love gaming. I love just, like, that's my thing. But honestly, if somebody proposed and said, hey, Abel, can you give us a solution to this live service dilemma? I could not provide one. I honestly couldn't. I don't know personally where we would head to make live service a healthy thing in this industry. And that's heartbreaking to me, because I would have to get amongst, I feel, a circle of minds that could provide further thought on that, because I don't see where we take it to make it a healthy thing.
It is weird.
I still thought the DLC, like the premiums for Battlefield, were better, at least in terms of Battlefield. Like, you knew you had guaranteed content every few months, and you paid a premium for that. The developers get that money to continue development, and you get quality content. Now, I think like Call of Duty did in Fortnite, and some others you can argue are doing a better job than others with the live service. But then you look at Battlefield, and it's like, they were clearly better off with the premium, because you had guaranteed content and support for the game, and look at the content you got versus what their live service model is. So there's like doing it right and doing it wrong. But I think I agree. There isn't really a perfect live service out of the
that's a tough. Now, if we go traditional, how we came up with map packs and everything, now that's a more healthier route. But then you fragment a community with the people that don't buy it day one, and they're like, oh, you got the map packs, I don't. I remember my prime Gears of War days. Some of my guys had the new maps. The hardcore folks, like hardcore folks such as myself, day one, I was there, new maps, everything. Rest of my boys, I have to wait till my check come through, or I'm about to do my taxes. Okay, all right. It's like you fragment the group that way. But I feel personally that was a more healthier route, even though it did fragment.
Both parties knew what you're getting.
Right, exactly. And nobody bitched. Everybody knew what it was. It was just like, oh damn, he got the map packs. Like, I don't have like. But now it's like everything's given to everybody, and everybody. Oh, we should have this.
Oh, we need more of it. How come there's not enough? There's only what this much. There needs to be more.
Exactly.
I didn't really.
I mean, it's not geared towards. I mean, with the map packs and stuff, there was a premium price for that. So you had. That's paying for the staff to support the game. With the live service model, it depends on how everything sells, and if it goes over. If things aren't going over well, people aren't buying the bundles. Guess how much you don't have enough money to support the dev team.
Exactly. So. There you go. Got to pay salaries. Have to. What are you about to say, Crash? You were on to something.
It's a great question, Abel. It's one of the best questions of the evening. What the hell was I about to say? That's a good one, man. No, I think I remember. I was gonna say, what was the? I never looked at it that way from it being unhealthy. Because I was looking at it from the why am I not getting more content, but at the same time, I could see the studios and developers looking at it from their point of view, which is something I should do more of. Okay, I'm trying to be a better person here.
Okay.
I need to start looking at it from other people's point of views. They're saying we're giving you free content. Why are you bitching? And then we are like, why aren't we getting as much content as we used to? And it's a thing. It's not a healthy relationship. I didn't think of it that way. You opened my eyes to that.
No, man. Yeah, hey, and see, it takes a man to even say that. Like some people, they don't even want to see that. Like, listen, you got to take different perspectives on everything. And I feel like the old business model of map packs and buying bundling skins and different things, I felt like that was really good. And if some studios decide to go back to those traditional styles, I don't think it's a step back. Now, is it a hard sell in today's time? Sure, it is in comparison to what other peers are doing and other big AAA studios are doing. Sure, that's a hard sell, but I don't think it's an incorrect one. It depends on what you're putting up forward. And I feel like if you have it all planned out for everybody and they see what they're going to get, I think they're more enticed. They're more prepared to be like, oh, I'm going to spend the dollar because look at the roadmap they gave us for the content. So like we're just ready and willing to pay. Now, when you do the free to the live service model, it's give. It's like a buffet, and it's like dogs with an endless belly, and they just keep eating. Bro, you know how quickly people run through the content on day one or whatever, and then just like on to the next. I want more.
Yeah, I
like,
mean, you look at the battle pass for Call of Duty. Like if you're playing, I mean, even Warzone, if you're playing Warzone, you're through that in like 2 weeks or something. And you really don't know what you're getting with that until it comes out. You have the option to buy into the battle pass, but that's why I prefer the premium pay for the map pack, but whatever you want to call it, because this is what you're getting. And like you said, everyone knows, but I feel like that content was so much better. I
feel so too.
I'm looking at like live service of Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone and everything, even Modern Warfare 2. Like if you were to ask me what was the highlight of like season 3 of Modern Warfare 2019, I couldn't even tell you what was in that season looking back. Now, if you said what was your favorite Battlefield 3 premium DLC, I can say, Armored Kill. That Armored Kill map was amazing. The weapons we got, the helicopters, that one map with the windmills, like there's memories there because the content was so much better. You built more memories.
You paid a premium and it felt premium.
You get what you pay for it. You get what you pay for it. You're not paying for it. You're getting a lower quality product. Is what. There
you go.
I used to get so hyped for the Battlefield 1 DLC releases, man. That Apocalypse DLC, the Name of the Czar, the Turning Tide. Like shit, dude. I'd get so amped for those.
I remember back in the day with those with the content we pay for. That was take a day off work.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Put in a leave request.
I don't give a fuck. I'll be like, I'll see you when I see you now. Like, but back in the day, you would take a day off of work off the premium content updates.
100%.
It was that it felt that impactful. Now today, would I do that? Oh fuck, no. I would no. No. Like and again, I don't. Like I think as we move forward and we pay attention to the AAA, this is what the executives are doing. They're looking over the fence. Oh wow, Fortnite's doing that. That's where their industry is going. Not per se. You could guide it. You could guide it and take it a different way. But you have to have a plan. You have to bring forth a plan that will facilitate your experience and resonate with your community. Now, if you're not putting that on the table and we're not planning and we're just going to look at the next guy and do the Me Too movement, you're not bringing anything forth. You really have to think about your product. You don't have to follow every fucking body else. You don't have to do it. You could do it different.
Battlefield 2042 example.
Exactly. You don't have to follow people.
Yeah.
You could do it differently. And people will respect the integrity. Like if somebody came out on stage to explain their product at E3 and be like, hey guys, we're not fucking with what the industry is doing right now. This is our approach to our title. We're more traditional in the sense, guys, that we have DLC pads and bro, people will go crazy. Watch the reception will be like, like people will go crazy for that. But nobody knows that because nobody takes those risks anymore. Everything's now it's either early access trash or live service shallow. Like pick one.
That's it.
True.
That sums up the entire podcast. Like, yeah, those are your two choices. Like, just looking at this Apocalypse trailer, man. This trailer for the last DLC in Battlefield 1 is better than any 2042 trailer they've done, dude. It's so good.
Beautiful.
There's a horse running down the trenches with a gas mask on. It's so gritty. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Battlefield 1 was, bro, so much quality. Oh my God. Battlefield 1.
When these trailers would premiere, like we'd all like gather in one of our offices and like watch it together and get so hyped. And then like, when's it released? When's it released? And then we go put in a leave request and like, we gotta have this day off, man. We're hitting this. It's just
this. To be honest with you, this was the last Battlefield. Like, and I'm not even a World War I guy or anything like that.
Nobody
This was the last one. This was the last one that I was actually excited for. I was actually excited for that. I was like, holy shit.
Dude, it's good.
That bro, I loved bro. I'm looking at my black gentleman point the gun at me now. Like,
I wish I had one of
loved
those.
it. Like, bro, like this now what they did with the oh shit, he is dust. Oh my God. Anyway, but what they did with the collector's edition on this, very trifling. I did not like how they did that. They'd even sell it with the game. That was terrible. Like not even a code, not even a game code. You didn't get that. You just got this, and you got a map, and you got some little compasses and shit like that, and that was it. But Battlefield 1, exquisite title beyond the bullshit. Like take all the bullshit away. That was a shooter. That was a great experience in my opinion. But
it was, really good experience. I had a good time with that.
Yeah, and bro, I didn't think I was. I don't like World War One and World. I like modern type shit or it's close to what, not Vietnam, what's the other one? Cold War type stuff. Like, that's more me. But they actually got me. Battlefield 1, I was like,
it was just fun.
Arcadey crosshair. Okay, different. At first I was like, yo, where's our traditional crosshair? Like, but bro, I grew to love it, and I was like, yo, they did their thing. It feels arcadey, but it's fucking great.
And I remember how like well received that was with the trailer and everything too. Granted, it went up against Infinite Warfare, which at the time everyone like hated it. But I mean, the trailer for Battlefield 1 like broke every record like for a game trailer back then. If I'm remembering correctly.
I tweeted like 2 weeks ago.
I think you're right, Buff.
I was like, it's Monday morning. I'm going to watch the Battlefield 1 trailer on repeat and kill this day. Like, that trailer still gets me amped, dude. Like, I'll just go back and watch it.
So pumped for that game. Yeah, and it was just fun. It was immersive and fun. The gameplay loop was good. And I'm the same way, Abel. I'm not a... Who would think a world... They took a risk with that being the time period of World War I. And it paid off. And it's... that's... It's weird because that... Yeah, that was still the premium timeline too. And I mean, and then what live service started in Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
It's
isn't that crazy?
It's weird.
Isn't that crazy how much of an impact Battlefield 1 was on the traditional model?
And then you have World War II that should have been a huge hit. You're like, oh, we got the Frostbite redone. It's gonna look, take World War I graphics, put in World War II. It should have been a success, but the model, but what they covered within the game, they covered the lesser known battles. But I mean, that's just an example for live service in general. We did a downturn all of a sudden, and it should not have been that. Even like you said, even though it was World War II, should not have been that. Not coming off of Battlefield 1 should not have been that. No way. Right. Exactly.
Like, that's insane.
Looking at some of these comments, man, it gets me emotional. Like, looking at these comments from like this guy. Battlefield 1 quotes, "They shall not pass. The sky will be color of hard crimson. We only believe in war. We are no longer innocent." And then Battlefield 2042. Well, that was fun. I'm not overconfident, just better than everyone else. Come on, that was too easy. Don't be sad. This is just how it works out sometimes.
Oh my god.
Where are we going?
That's amazing.
What happened, man?
Bro.
And then in Battlefield 3, I mean, even Battlefield 1, like your soldier would be cursing and stuff. You hear F-bombs left and right.
Right here.
In 2042, it's just like the most
So
cheesy
generic type,
lines.
corny
Yeah,
shit. Like
they just went with some. That's just not developers. That's like studio heads with the direction of the game and just really poor decision making at its finest.
And you know what was scary was a lot of the developers, it's like they knew 9/11 was going to happen and they rode out with it. Like they knew it. They're like, oh, this plane's hitting these towers. Like, and they knew it. Bro, the
It
articles
just needs
that
a little bit more time in the oven. That's all.
Yo, that too. But you know how blatantly they lied to us before? Like they're like, oh, we're ahead of schedule.
Well,
like, bro, again, they knew that they were gonna crash. They're like,
but it was
we're gonna
also
crash out here.
They did, and it was like when it got delayed. That's what the developers were saying. Is like I remember one of the guys. I don't know if it was Lars or somebody who'd been there forever. Was tweeted, I've worked on so many Battlefield games. This game is done. We're just taking extra time to flush out some details. Blah, blah, blah.
I heard that. Yeah,
and that was the delay. So then they had an extra month, and it's like, wow, what was that going to look like if it came out on the original date? Like,
right? Exactly.
Whoa,
exactly. And then somebody in chat said, I don't think they had a choice. No, I know they didn't have a choice.
Right,
I know they didn't have a choice. That's clear.
Right.
I'm not saying that they were trying to on purpose fool us. I'm not. No. I know
don't
these
play it, guys. The game sucks.
Exactly. What are they gonna? Guys, don't do it, guys. I know what's behind this door. Like, please, like they can't do that. They had their families to feed, bro. If that was my job and that was my livelihood, you would see me. You would see Abel Green sitting there like, hey, we're ahead of schedule, guys. I'll look at the camera a couple of times like we're ahead of schedule, guys. But again, when you have to feed your family and stuff, right. When you have to feed your family, I totally get the position they're in, and I don't fault them because that's not fair. That's not their choice. They have to do what they have to do. And my thing is this. And now, if they were independent developers and they know they had a shitty product, shame on you. Like if you're independent, but if you're AAA, bro, you're the puppet, and then that's it, man. That's it. Like there's nothing you could do.
Yep. But no, I think that summarized everything pretty well. I feel like with the three of us, we could talk about video games for like forever, like indefinitely. I had a lot of fun. I want to be
8-hour episode next.
Yeah, we could marathon 24-hour stream. Settle in, everybody.
Right.
But no, I want to be respectful of Abel and Buff's time. I appreciate you guys so much. That was really fun conversation. I had
fun. I had fun, man. This was fun.
And that's what I was wanting this episode to be. I know, guys, a lot of times we're like, following kind of news and reacting to the news and talking about like what's going on in FPS games. But this was just a fun, let's talk about where we're at. Let's take a look at where we're at, where it's going, and just hang out.
But also like it brings good insight into everything. I mean, usually some episodes we talk about the news, other times we get into stuff like this, and it's just good overall discussion as to like, even I know we have like some younger people in the chats too from our channels. It's like, so they don't remember what gaming used to be like. So it's kind of it's cool to reflect back and almost have like a retrospective deep dive to some level.
Yes, bro.
To, where we were, where we are, what the future is. It sounds like we kind of all agree. I think things are kind of going to rotate back to what the models were like back in like the 2012s and stuff like that to some degree. So we'll have to see what happens in the next few years.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of what Buff was saying, like it seems like some of the giants must fall and get a reset going.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing this through layoffs. We're seeing the Ubisoft quarterly report come out and they're not too fond of what's going on. There has to be a reset in order for the industry to be healthier, in order for gaming to be healthier. And we have to develop a new business model to lead us forward. Live service gaming, I don't feel at this current moment is sustainable in its current state. Some things definitely have to change. And I think the proper adjustments will be made with time. Now, do I see it coming out of the AAA or in some degree? Yes. In some degrees, no. But I think that after this whole recession and we get through all these ups and downs on the market, I think we will see something healthier in the future. May not be 2023, but I think 2024, 2025, we might see something that's outstanding.
And I think everything we talked about today, and this is probably the main game we talked about the whole time, but I do think whatever Battlefield does next, it's either gonna crash and burn like they have in the past. But how many times do you get something wrong before you learn to do it right? So a lot of stuff we talked about today could be applied to that next Battlefield title, and that's gonna be, as far as we don't have a Call of Duty title this year, so there's not one until 2024. Battlefield will probably be 2024 or 2025, but it's like, they obviously know at this point they need to revamp. I think that's going to be a really good example. Are they going to follow trends, or are they going to try and redefine what the AAA gaming landscape looks like? So I think that'll be the telling point right there to see where we're going.
Buff, well said. I agree. I totally agree. They have a lot of data on the table to look at, and they have a lot of things to reassess and apply to their business models going forward. So, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. We're rooting for you. Got to figure it out.
I know I am. Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, thank you so much for being on. Abel, thanks for taking the time.
Anytime, man.
Buff, you as well every week. Yeah, you're welcome back
Absolutely.
anytime. We'll have to do it again, man. It's a lot of fun.
Great show. A lot of fun.
And everybody, thank you for listening. Again, check out Abel's stuff wherever you're watching or listening that has a description. His stuff is in there. His info is in there. Check him out. Awesome thought-provoking videos, just like hopefully this conversation was today. I'm loving this format. Let's keep it growing. Let's get better and better every week, and see you guys in 9 in a week. All right, bye.
See you guys.